Welcome back. In this session, we will learn about Python type errors and exception handling. Now, maybe let's see the type errors. What kind of errors are this? And actually, the error that we face when we make syntax error or something that Python doesn't like. For instance, I will show you by writing here, I'm a HCMD, and then I can just open Python, right? Can I just make this a bit bigger? Maybe, yeah, did you see it? Is it easy to see, guys, by the way, this? I
Yes.
hope so. Then maybe if I say Python, for instance, print 10, yeah, it just works. And if I say print maybe 10, it's a string, it works. But if I say print 10 and something like this, now I forgot to add actually the addition one closing quote, and then it will break and it's going to be what kind of a bug is it? It's a kind of a syntax error. Yeah, it tells me where. Actually, it's showing me this hasn't been terminated by a closing code and unterminated string literal. Yeah, that's really good. So yeah, it was a syntax error actually. So maybe I can also just move on. So yeah, we fixed that. So the type of the error, we call it syntax error. Name error, for instance, sometimes just we may try sometimes just try to print name or age. Yeah, name error because name hasn't been defined. So maybe I have to just define now my name, and then by doing this name or print name, I can debug by doing that. I debugged it by doing that. Yes, something like that. And sometimes also we may try, for instance, I may have nums. And if I have nums and I can say 1, 2, 3, and then nums 0, I should get 1, nums 1, I should get 2, nums 3, I should get, I don't have nums 2, I should get 3. How about nums 3? Because there's no index 3, so it's going to be index error actually, kind of list index out of range, out of bound. There is no the index 3 in this list because 0, 1, 2. Yeah, and then maybe, for instance, if I have user and then maybe the user name, and then we can say John, and then age, this is the dictionary, and he's still 1, and then maybe student, but this would be enough, okay? User, as you can see, this user has got two properties, the name and age. Maybe if I say user and then name, I should get John, and user and then age, I should get 21, right? But how about if I say user dot maybe country? Because this now we don't have a country in the user, yeah? So it's going to be key error. It's going to be a key error. It doesn't exist, I'm trying. So sometimes to avoid that, if it doesn't exist, I told you that you can use this, the dot get, and then you can go country. In this case, we get none, if you remember in the Python. Yeah, it didn't display it, but I can print out and you will see it's we are going to get none. Yeah, none. Well, okay. These are some of errors that I remember. Let's name error. We have seen that. Index error. We have seen that. Module not found error. Yeah. If you remember, we can import, for instance, math, right? Mathematics, right? So then, but instead, if I make like this, math, S, because this can be imported, that's okay. But how about if I try to import math? Yeah, module, not found error. No module named math. Yeah, because it doesn't exist. Okay, how about if I say from math, import pi, import pow, import power. Yeah, what? Yeah, because I made a mistake. From mat import this. Yeah, it was okay. But how about instead if I make by mistake, if I say it by capital? Now, import error cannot import name pi from mat unknown location. It doesn't exist. Or maybe by mistake, power, something like this. Yeah, cannot import. So the type of error is importing error or import error, something. That's what we call it. And then what is it? The attribute error. Yeah. So yeah, this is the okay. So actually, that is, for instance, you have imported already. After importing math like this, if you try to like math instead of py, this works, but instead, if you make a mistake like pi, it just will be an attribute error because there's no attribute pi with uppercase in the math module. Yeah, that's really good. So let's just move on. Key error, we have seen that. And then type error. Yes, type error, we faced that, for instance. If we add 1 plus 2, it should be 3, right? If we add 4 plus 5, it should be 9. But can we add actually now 2 plus 4, something like this? Yeah, as you can see, type error. It's impossible to concatenate this. We cannot do arithmetic operation with a number and a string. But if we want, we have to change this to some type difference. So we have to cast it. I can say int or float int, and then yeah, I have to fix that. Now I got 6 because I casted the string to int first. Type error, we have type error, import error, we had that already. Value error, when do we have? Yeah, sometimes, you can change, for instance, if you have the value of a is actually 4 or maybe 10, right? Something like that. You can change this to int, right? Int of a should be 4, right? Even you can multiply that up with like 100 or whatever, this should give me 400. But how about sometimes people by mistake, they may try to change. For instance, if you say 9.81, something like this, what would be the type of value error? This 9.8, first, it should be changed to actually a float instead. So instead, we should change it to a float, and that kind we call it. And sometimes even some people may try to change some text to a number, and this is also value error. It's not, yeah, you change only int. If it's this 10, you can change it to int because that's an integer in a form of a string, right? Yeah, that's then last but not least, zero division error. Yes, we don't divide numbers by 0. For instance, you can divide 10 by 10 and you get 1. And 4 by 2, you get 2. But 10 by 0, this leads zero division error. It's impossible and it's infinity and it doesn't have any meaning. Yeah. Great. Now let's move on. So these are not all the error types, but these are some of the error types that you may face when you write Python code. And if you know the type of errors, debugging will be easy. Yeah. Great. So let's exit from the Python interactive shell and get back to uh, exception handling. Yeah, this will be really good because we just now covered the type of errors. So we handle the try. First, we try actually. I mean, so I have to call this exception handling. Exception handling. Copy. Why we need to handle exception? You never know. Your user might try it in different ways. So when the user actually provide wrong data, you should actually handle that. For instance, I may say input, input. Maybe instead of doing that, I can try with just something, okay? Print 1 plus 2. Yeah, now that's okay, right? It goes, it's right, yeah? It's okay, it worked. But how about if it's like this? Now, this break my code, right? Yeah, but I just don't want. I just don't want it to be broke. Yeah, try something like this. Instead of breaking, just I'm telling my code to try it out. And then after that, accept when something goes wrong, something like that. As you can see this part, so what Python does actually, it comes in here and check it. And then when it checks it, this will not be executed instead this part. So, oh, something goes wrong. But if I fix this, for instance, by casting it to int, and then actually we'll never see the exception case. Oh yeah, but even this try except may have final, and the final will be printed anyway. This part, this block will be printed all the time. It doesn't matter if this part or this part is the one going to be executed, this will be printed out all the time. For instance, at this case, yeah, this will be printed out and this will be printed out together. So sometimes after either of these get executed, if you want to also print one of them, you do the finally. Okay, so this is how we actually solve different. So, but as you can see now, I have to say what kind of problem am I facing here instead of just providing something like this. How about if I say the type of error? What type of error was it? The type of error I was facing was a value error. Value error. I think we can say value error. And then I can call it here value error. Value error. And maybe except and zero division error. Zero division error. And maybe except and maybe key index, maybe key error. Something like that. Let's try this different one. Print key error. I think we can have also, let me see. Yeah, in my previous example, I just used. Okay, so key error. So here also print zero division error, zero division error, key error, index error, whatever, the different kinds of error. Now, as you can see, what's the kind of error I'm expecting? So the kind of error is actually the value error, this error. What? Unsupported operand form, but I was expecting my value error code should work, right? No? Okay. Okay. Print, maybe I have to check. What did I type error, value error, zero division error?
It's
Try.
type error, right?
Huh?
It should be type error instead of value error.
We don't have, oh yes, so we don't have type error here. Thank you. Except error, and then print. Yeah, operand types. Actually, it's also type error. It's giving me here the type error. So I had to provide type error. Yeah, as you can see now, yeah, type error. How about if I was just like print maybe dividing it by 0? and then this block will be printed out. It's going to be, yeah, zero division error, but my code is not breaking, as you can see, it's not breaking, yeah? And then maybe if I'm trying to just gate, if I have some user here, user, and then just empty, and then if I say user age and something like that, I'm expecting key error or something like that. But actually, instead of writing like this, I can keep this long or verbose. We can write it in a more elegant way like this. We just need only one exception. Okay, we don't need all this. And then we call it exception as E. And then let's just print E and see what's going. Print. So as you can accept exception, this class, and then as E, then let's just print out E. What are we going to get? Well, I'm getting like E as an age. Yeah, but what is, maybe I have to say, I think the example here, before I make too much mistake, exception as E, and but print E. Okay, maybe how about if we try something different? 1 plus 2, what would be the result? Unsupported operand type 4 plus, and that print does this. E has method. Let's see our properties. So we can see, as you can see, yeah, but as you can see, still we got already an information, like it's not very formatted message, but it just gave us like this print. But so operand type for this unsupported operand intent string. So we're getting it. For instance, if I'm trying to divide this by 0, I should get also this the 0 division error, division by 0 error. Yeah. And if I try to also get maybe, for instance, 1, 2, and 3, and then if I am trying to extract from this, for instance, 3, and then this an index problem, list index out of range. As you can see, it's giving me actually a very good error message, but my code is not breaking still. But the problem, I think it didn't work here. For instance, let me just say name and then sub. Why it didn't work? And now, if I try to print out user and then age, because I can have to comment that out, because if I have to age, why not this time didn't give me the error? It didn't give me the error message, but still it didn't break when I'm using this dictionary. But why it didn't give me the error type? It should have given me key error, but instead it just gave me the key. That's a bit strange in here. I have never faced this before, but this exception as E can solve almost all the kind of Python errors, and then you have just only one block of code. Let's see if there's something that we can add. Actually, this is that you need for today. And now in this session, we have covered the different type errors, Python errors, and also how we handle exceptions. Why we need to handle exceptions? Just to make our code robust. It will never be broken in any way. Yeah, that's good enough for this part and for today.